All right, I'm here with David Kraft, Head of Global Innovation Services. How you doing, man?
How's it going?
At Xinova.
That's right.
So what are you working on as Global Head of Innovation?
Yeah, so we really turn big problems into solutions.
Okay.
And we work with a number of companies, both big and small, like Honda, Innit, Pepsi.
Whoa.
And work with them to understand their innovation needs, but then translate those into solutions.
Okay.
And we do that with a collective of innovators, of 12,000 innovators, scientists, engineers, entrepreneurs.
Wow, so you're like trying to research how to make it better, essentially.
Right, the process of innovation.
Yeah, and then working with the kitchen to, what's like an end result, that how do you see that future kitchen?
Yeah, well, like we saw or are watching with smart home automation in general, it's really started with the hardware, and then you begin to layer on software, services, and solutions. But what we haven't seen yet is sort of the Uber of food emerge.
Right.
That platform that we all connect with, that we all use, and that's what we're looking for today.
Almost like the internet in the way, right? Like this kind of full-on thing that we all kind of can tap into, or the companies can tap into.
That's right. And what we're looking for is really how do you develop and connect relationships that are seamless and support the end consumer.
Can you give me an example of something like this, like that you've been working on, or that you're thinking about working on, that will help get us to that place?
Yeah. So what we're really trying to do is enable innovation with our partners, help build connections, and we do that in 4 different ways. First is the technology, which we can all touch and see,
right?
Which is quite easy. But innovation needs more than just technology. It also needs talent from people. It needs demand from customers and companies, but then it also needs capital. And so bringing all of those 4 things together, we're able to create sort of the right set of conditions to establish partnerships and relationships between companies.
That makes sense, and now the Uber part makes a lot more sense. Yeah. It's like you literally have to find the money, you have to find the ecosystem and create all this stuff together.
That's right.
Yeah.
And most companies historically have tried to do this alone. They try to put all 4 things together.
Yes.
But that's really hard, and it's very risky. So if you're able to share that risk and share that with a community of people that want to solve those challenges, you're able to build a much greater set of products and services.
What do you see as a challenge for, like all these different companies are working towards this future kitchen, right? But then you have the consumer who's still confused. And I mean, we've talked to so many people today, different digital products, different digital ecosystems, different ovens, and they, I feel like, me included, don't know where to go. So that education of the consumer, how do you see that?
Well,
improving?
we're all fighting for the consumer's attention, and that's what we're going to see here in the next couple of years, is that food digitization is going to transform, specifically because we're not going to fight so much for the time and attention of the consumer. It's going to become seamless.
Right.
And what we're going to fight for is access to that smart kitchen platform. And so through a series of relationships that we'll develop and will be developing, that's where suddenly it becomes seamless and automated, and the consumer is just part of that equation.
Unaware of it, right?
Exactly.
It's just like, I just do this and that's how it happens, yeah. I guess my last question to that is, like, what do you see the hurdles being? Because obviously companies like having their own divisions and stuff like that. How do they play nice, and how do you help them?
It's really trying to understand the business models, right? And so the good news is we're seeing some business models fail. We're seeing companies fail, and we need to see more of that, which is not great news, but it gives sanity to investors. And what we'll start to see is a few exits. And so as a few companies begin to get it right and exit, more and more capital will be deployed into the space.
Interesting, yeah. Well, I have a final question for you, and it's this. When we look at these different devices and different ways to get food in the kitchen, do you see the kitchen getting smaller? Like the physical kitchen itself? Is that something that is going to be a thing where kitchens are maybe not the way they are now?
Well, they're not necessarily optimized for all of us, and there's also a lot of trends around smaller kitchens, smaller platforms, and having more versatile devices. But what we're also seeing is a lot of the devices that are being built and developed now are all sort of in the premium market, and what you haven't seen is really get mass deployment. And so there'll be a big change between trying to go after luxury brands and of luxury households
Right.
into smaller format.
Right. Yeah, you don't need that huge open floor plan all the time. I mean, you got your counter oven, you got your different devices, you know, and
But
they all
we
talk to each other.
But we all congregate. We all come into the kitchen.
Right.
Right. And so it's something that we all experience and all share. And so I don't know that the footprint or the footprint will
Right.
be smaller, but you might use the space better.
Yeah. It's more for the people. We can all actually just hang out there, yeah. Well, thanks so much for talking with us
Great.
today.
Thanks, Carlos.
I wish you all the luck in the world because we need that kind of full-on system so that we all can innovate. So it's pretty cool.
Thank
All right,
you.
have a good rest of your show.
Cool.